it's pickups time. Like I said last year, we're going to look at some pickups. I got a lot of games to look at here, so we're going to talk about those. There's a good mix of stuff here. A lot of modern stuff. A lot of, the usuals. I love me some Wii games, so we're going to talk about some Wii games. I'm not going to look. We're going to do the not look-see kind of pool. I like that. We just kind of figure out what comes out. Games like this, oh god, DS, you're a Nai Seikatsu. Don't ask me what that is. This has been at a local game shop of mine for a while, and it's a little unassuming when you look at the box art. It's just like Japanese text on a green background kind of thing. It is a Nintendo published game, I believe, but I believe it is more or less like a horoscope kind of self-help book kind of thing. But what really kind of caught my attention with this thing is the character art in it is really fun. They have this little like cutesy drawn lady with like this, I don't know, hand-drawn doodles. And she's like sometimes really angry. She's depressed. She's super happy. So I don't necessarily know the context of this game. This is one of those games that like I probably need to sit down and translate the manual or use a machine translation on the manual to kind of get a better idea of what's happening in this thing. But it seems to be some kind of like social interaction kind of thing or horoscope kind of thing. You put your birthday in there. But there's just a lot of really fun art. I'm going to plan to scan the manual for this at some point. Some of this art was on the website, and I did pull some of that art before because I thought it was really cute. But yeah, it's one of those things that like sometimes when I see a game like this that really catches my eye initially online and it ends up at a local store near me, like I feel like I feel like God brought it to me, so I just should get it. But I did resist on this one for a while because I was just like, Ben, you don't read enough Japanese to even know what to do with this thing. And I think I haven't tried hard enough if I'm going to not just use, machine translation to get through it. But yeah. The Conduit 2. So Filler, who does the PCFX Fan Club podcast with me, he's getting rid of some Wii games. And he was like, Ben, I know you love the Wii. And would you like some Wii games? And so, I went ahead and bought some Wii games from him because he was trying to get rid of them. If you don't know, The Conduit was a game I played a really long time ago. I actually have a review on the website, so that tells you how old that is, given I wrote a review for it, which has been a long time since I've done something like that. And so now I finally got myself The Conduit 2. And, it's not one of those games that I was like super like excited to check out. But I love me some Wii shooters, right? I played 007 Quantum Solace recently, and Quantum Solace just didn't feel great. And I seem to recall Conduit 2 generally feeling pretty good. It's also kind of an alien kind of aesthetic shooter, so it's got some neat gimmicky kind of guns and things like that. One thing that you don't see on here, this is the limited edition version, so it's like holographic and stuff. And but Filler takes really good care of these games, and so I have since dismantled it because I am somebody who is these games are going to die with me someday. I guess is how I feel. So I'm just going to keep it in the way that I want it to. But like he had the discs all kind of wrapped up nicely. He had plastic wrap on the boxes, and even the Conduit 2, he did a plastic wrap on the manual as well. So holy boy, that guy's taking care of his video games. But I just other than the plastic wrap on this one, I just took everything out of it and put it in the standard form. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of thoughts about the Conduit 2 in terms of like what's interesting about it. I think there's a good answer that I don't find that much interesting. I heard the story is unique. Maybe I shouldn't say unique. I don't know. I think the story, if I recall correctly, has a lot to do with like the founding fathers in America. And I think the first game kind of teased towards that. So I think this second game really kind of goes all in on that. And so I need to probably rewatch what happened in the Conduit 1, or if it's short enough, maybe replay the Conduit 1. But I feel like I probably would just rather play the Conduit 2. But I might go watch all the cutscenes, or at least watch what the ending was at the very least. Another random game, Fishing Master, singular. We only have one Fishing Master in this house. I picked this one up because it's a Hudson fishing game. So it's more cutesy art style kind of looking ones, which, as we talked about earlier with Storybook Workshop, I love me some cutesy looking games. There's a lot of fishing games on the Wii. I think I have only been really super interested in Fishing Resort. But Fishing Resort, if I recall correctly, is a pretty pricey game. So chances are I'm not going to ever buy that. I probably should play it, but I think I need to beat Go Vacation first. I don't need to. I'm going to beat Go Vacation before I ever play Fishing Resort, probably, just because there's a lot of overlap there in terms of the kind of game it is. I think it's called like Family Fishing in Japan, so I think it's part of the Family franchise. But, if you ever played like a Harvest Moon or something, I feel like this game has like a similar aesthetic kind of thing going on there. There's like a character thing, so dialogue. So it looks really cutesy. And I'm going to guess there's like a little bit more to this than just like, Sega bass fishing, like 2 points. I don't know. I've never played Sega bass fishing. So look at me talking crap about Sega bass fishing. I think what I'm really saying is that Sega bass fishing is an arcade game that probably doesn't have much narrative, where this game looks like there's a little bit more going on, but it does have like a multiplayer focus to it as well. Or maybe not focus, multiplayer option to it as well. So, but it looks neat. I think I'm interested in this. I'm curious if this was ever on another platform at all. Something about these just read like PS2 character models to me, but I could be very wrong. Also, looking at the this art in the back of the manual, I feel like his hair is longer here. Like, look at that. I don't know if you're listening, you don't see it, but like, look on the front. He got like a haircut. Or is that the girl? But the girl doesn't have the center thing in her hair. Is that the same character? And the hair's longer there too. Maybe he just has longer hair. Sometimes. Not all the time. Maybe they just cut his hair on the box art because they're like, boys like clean cut men. We love me some clean cut men. Anyways, I don't know what is. I don't know if this case is not a Wii case, but like for some reason it's like a really shiny plastic. More so than other games. So we're getting a random game. I'm kind of just digging below, so I don't really know if we're gonna end up with like a bunch of the same stuff because I bundled them together. This is kind of a shot in the dark. I will give you. Satisfaction. Rock the Roadway. Now, Satisfaction doesn't look particularly good. It looks like a game where you choose like maybe 3 different outfits and you go down the runway. And I don't know. When I look at this game, surface level wise, I don't see a lot of depth to it, right? Like you do makeup, that kind of stuff, right? Not to say that it isn't interesting or fun, just like I think for me, what I'm looking at with video games, I don't know if this is like gonna really do it for me. However, something about the aesthetic, it is not like a Japanese kind of art style, which I generally like more Japanese aesthetics when it comes to these kind of cutesy games. But something about the art style I did generally like. It does have more like a Western-esque look to it. But aesthetically, I think there's something I really enjoyed about it. I had also never heard of it before, and so I forget how much it was, but dirt cheap, I'm sure. And so I opted to pick it up. So not a lot to say about that one so far. In the Games for Girls line, we got Master Chef. There's Fishing Master and there's Master Chef. Okay, one of each. This is one of those Imagine games where it's branded kind of like as this like very tweeny 2006 girl kind of thing going on, but it is just a reskinned Japanese cooking game from the time from, I don't know if it's Spike Chunsoft or what. I don't know if I can see the original developer here, but they basically rebranded it. The art style in the game more or less seems untouched. So it is, again, I feel like this whole podcast I've just been like cutesy Japanese character art that I like a lot, but something I like. Choco. He is Lisa's family dog. He can talk to the stuffed animals. Lisa's classmates. Lisa gets along well with all the boys and girls in her class. Lisa's dad. He is currently away on a business trip. So, anyways, I have a handful of these things. I just kind of pick them up as I see them. And so I really need to sit down and really actually play them more. Games for Girls, man. I go through phases, but I always buy them in between, despite only going through phases to play them. So, but I think there is a lot of coverage out there about these kind of Imagine games now. I really should give the ones with more Western aesthetics a look, because obviously, it being Japanese does not suddenly mean it's better. But something I kind of talked about on the Ray podcast about how I don't really like how I skew my thoughts or interest in games based on that aesthetic style specifically only. I think that stuff kind of bothers me a little bit. If you're watching the video version, I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry about the quality of this game case. This is Orphan. If you have listened to this podcast for a long time, you will know Orphan is developed by the Gun Pixies game developers. I mean, Gun Pixies does have girls in it, but the game developers. Also, I think it's called, they had another game series. I forgot what it's called. It's like schoolgirl anime, not Schoolgirl Zombie Hunters, but some kind of schoolgirl anime shooter thing. That I never really liked how it looked, honestly. Bullet Fantasia or something like that, maybe? I don't know. But Orphan was one of the first games I believe that company did. So I found this for $2, and the case is in the cover art underneath is in real rough shape, I will say. It's like very water damaged and wrinkly. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do to kind of deal with that. But if I recall correctly, it's just kind of like a weird, is it early PS2? I forget what year this game was, but it was one of those PS2 games that had 1999 that just played probably more like a PS1 game in a lot of ways, just very awkward looking. But I always thought it looked pretty cool. And it's got kind of a, I don't know, Yu Yu Hakusho kind of look to it visually. I'm not a big Yu Yu Hakusho guy, but I don't think the aesthetic's bad. So I just thought I would check it out. So finally, I don't remember, go look at how old that Gun Pixies episode is where I talked to, what's his name? Pete Davidson about it, I believe. He used to run a website called Moe Gamer. I wonder if he's still around. I don't remember the last time I've seen him. I hope he's doing good. I know he was he was very public about some of his stuff he was going through. So I guess I'm just saying I hope he's doing well. So if you're listening to this, Pete, I hope you're doing well. Wii games. All right. We were talking earlier about how like Storybook Workshop is a game I picked up partly because of the Konami's logo on it. This one is mostly because the Sega logo, I will say. Wacky World of Sports, an original multiplayer party game is what it says on the box. This game has a really interesting aesthetic, very like blocky looking character designs. Maybe, I don't know, extreme kind of view. I don't know how to describe this kind of look. Very like exaggerated character, maybe like Wind Waker-esque in some ways. I don't know. Not like visually Wind Waker, but just like some of the ways it exaggerates characters feels very similar. But yeah, it's a minigame collection. I forget how many minigames. Does it say on the back here? 10 over-the-top sports. So 10 wacky sports include tuna tossing, card boxing, lawnmower racing, ice golf, log cutting, and more. Now, I will say this. When we play games like this on the Wii, that are like 10 minigames, I feel like they usually are not particularly good. I feel like each of the minigames don't have enough time and effort put into them, like from a development perspective. And I don't feel like it has the same luxury of variety that a game that has like closer to 40 to 50 minigames has, right? I think those games need to stick around as long as you can, like, as long as the depth of them work. And I feel like when you have like 10 games, it's a little harrowing a little bit. But anyways, it is a Sega game. I thought the art style was interesting. I do not have any recollection of this game coming out. Anytime I see a Wii game I do not remember at all, I'm always curious because I was so tuned in on the Wii that like it was really hard for me to miss much. And that doesn't mean I never saw this game, but my brain never retained any data about this game basically. So a lot of these kind of like budget Wii games have like black and white manuals, so they're not super interesting to look at, unfortunately. But I think the aesthetic of this game looks pretty neat. I don't have a lot of faith in the game itself, but I was willing to take a shot on it and just see how it is. See what Sega was doing. What year was this, Sega? Tell me. 2007. Okay, that would have been pretty early in the Wii as well. So that's interesting. I just talked crap about games that have 10 mini games in them. Initsu no Tatsujin. Okay, that game has some problems, but I like that game a lot. So, Ben, things are looking up. We got a Switch game here. Which one it is? I saw it when I picked it up. Princess Peach Showtime. If you know, we were talking about games for girls earlier. I'm big into games for girls. Princess Peach Showtime, not a lot of this game initially interested me. I liked, that Princess Peach goes to different outfits and stuff, and it sounds like those kind of affect her abilities and things like that. And, for me, I like mechanically driven games around outfits. My only concern is that it might not have the novelty. I don't know how to put that. I'm a little worried that the outfits won't do what I want. And the question is what do I want? And I don't know the answer to that right now. The thing I always look at is games like a Tokadol, because that is like an RPG where when you customize your outfits, it gives you different abilities and skills and things like that, right? That's usually kind of the first place I go. But even Happy Dance Collection, you don't get abilities or something like that from your outfits, but it is a part of the dress-up process and part of your score at the end of the game. So I think maybe I should say, I don't know if you as the player interact in a way where choosing your outfit matters, right? And that's a weird thing to say when your abilities are connected to your outfits, but we'll see. When I play this, maybe I'll have better thoughts on that. That's just my concern. I don't know if there's anything specifically about this game that jumps out at me. The Japanese box art, Japanese box art. I was thinking Japanese box art because there's a bunch of drama about the box art on this one. People were like, oh, she looks a little too serious or something. And I think maybe the Japanese one, she doesn't look as serious or something. I don't know, or smug. I don't remember what it was. I don't really care. The Japanese version was just cheaper to get. So given the weird exchange rate that's been going on with the Switch in the last handful of years, I'd be really curious if Nintendo will take any real action on preventing people from doing any kind of import stuff. Whether that be maybe just separating the SKUs so you can't get an English version of a game off a Japanese cart. I don't know. I feel like maybe there's something to be said about hey, we don't want you buying our Princess Peach game for $40 instead of $60 kind of thing. Because guess what? I did. I did it because that's I did it. Nintendo Labo. I'm not going to bring the whole box over here. I got the robot Joy-Con kit. You're going to look, there's a lot of Switch games in this pile right now. A lot of this Switch stuff, I will say, is related to the Nintendo video, where I think I have kind of said, hey, I need to do more with Nintendo stuff. Honestly, I think I need to be giving Nintendo more of a fair shot to do things. And so what are the things I'm interested in? Let me pick this stuff up. Nintendo Labo Toy-Con robot kit. I'm interested in, picked it up. I have not sat down and done Labo stuff though. It's time commitment. I will say the last couple months I was trying to do Final Fantasy 11 stuff. So Final Fantasy 11, the answer to where all my time goes sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of time does. It is a time sink game, but I think we're finally out of the weeds there with what I was trying to do with it. Wii Fit Plus, I think technically it says $5 on the case, but I got it for $2. I think it's a buy. I think with Orphan it was $2.50 for both of them. So I bought Wii Fit Plus in the past, but when I got it home for $1, when I got it home, the disc wasn't in the case. So guess what? This one, it's got a disc in the case. Whew. Video game, huh? You ever just open a video game and get a disc? Wow, man. How awesome. There's some videos I've opened that have not had discs. So I don't know if when I'll play Wii Fit Plus. I didn't really engage with Wii Fit Plus. I don't remember what's in Wii Fit Plus. I know there's a Wii Fit U as well. So maybe I'll check this out. I remember the big thing was just kind of reducing some of the time between exercises. Because remember, that was a big thing over just Wii Fit. The first Wii Fit didn't really move at a pace that was good for daily exercise and things like that. So I don't have a balance board still. I got to get a balance board. That was the fatal flaw in my plan. I still don't have a balance board. Centipede Infestation, another Wii game. Look at that thing. I remember Classic Game Room did a review of this, and he liked it. I don't know. It looks kind of neat. Whenever you're using a Wii remote pointer and an isometric shooter kind of thing, I think that's kind of interesting. I'm hoping that's what's happening here. Some games didn't actually do that. I don't know if it says on here. Use devastating power-ups. Find seeds to create tower defenses. Weapons. I don't see any mention of a Wii remote on the back of this box. Strategic gameplay brings hours of fun. Co-op mode. Yeah. Well, maybe I should look at the manual. We have a manual here. We can see. Also, I got a special unlock code. Look. Gamers. I know you didn't buy Centipede Infestation, but get that code, baby. Unlock the Missile Command Pack. I'm guessing that's just a password in the game and not an actual download code. And even if it was, it no longer is valid. I was trying to figure out what the pointer controls were with this game. Let's see if we can figure that out. Control pad. Okay, point remote, aim weapon. Cool. Already winning. We are winning the game. I already like this game a little bit more than when I didn't know that. So, on the path to success. This is another thing from filler, Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo. This is I think mostly like a 2D platformer. There's a Wii and DS version of this game, I believe. I just heard generally good things about it at the time. I don't really know much about it. I prefer Dragon Ball over Dragon Ball Z generally. So I'm more interested in this kind of setting overall. So yeah, I don't really know if there's much to say about that other than people like it. It's good. And I think it is one of the more, I don't know if pricey is the right word, but it's definitely not the cheapest Wii game out there for sure. Lalalupi, Carnival Friends. I can say words. So I think this is a franchise called Lalalupi. I don't know anything about it. Featuring Silly Funhouse Park. I don't know how much this is branded. It's an Activision thing. I just thought aesthetically it kind of looked fun. It reminds me a little bit of what's it called? What's that game called? Shoot. Freaky Forms, but instead of weird monsters, it's little like pin cloth dolls with like buttons for their eyes and stuff. Adventure in Lalalupi Land. Apparently there's a DVD at the very least. So this will be my exposure to Lalalupi. I don't really know what kind of game this is. Explore 16 whimsical levels. Look for your favorite Lalalupi littles. So, anyways, I just thought aesthetically it looks pretty nice. 3DS game as well. Just interesting aesthetic for that kind of game. So I hope it's interesting. Another Nintendo Labo. Nothing really to say about this. This is a drive kit. Interesting, your name. I don't know if the other Labo had your name on there. Oh, yeah, it did. Do all Labo games ask for your name on it? That's interesting. Anyways, this is a drive kit. I don't know if there was multiple drive kits or not. I think I got one of the cheaper ones, but there's 3 icons on this box with a submarine, a car, and an airplane. I don't know how many more there are or not. I don't think I'll buy the VR kit because the VR kit price-wise just kind of got out of my range of interest. So these were a lot more affordable. They were not the price of which they originally cost, but they weren't as cheap as they got down. You know, for a while you could find like the robot kit for like $10. I think I got it for like 30. So we are doing Redemption. So if you're before, when we imported something from Vink, we bought Project Minerva. And I was like, oh yeah, Vink recommended this game to me. Vink did not recommend this game to me. This is like a military shooter with like a lady on it. I don't know anything about it. It's a D3 game. Gonna guess it's like simple series, probably simple kind of thing. 2001, 2002, right? He recommended to me Space something starring Morning Musume. I think I just saw the Asian real lady on here and thought, oh, that's probably like an idol. Just got that and got confused. And I knew there's like shooting in this. And so maybe I saw the shooting on the back of here and was like, it's the same game, right? No, this is like a space game. It's like on-rail. It has like a little music numbers kind of mixed in. So I did not buy this from Vink. This actually just showed up near me. So it got to me on its own. So yeah, so there's that. This game we talked about a while ago. And I don't have it here, but I bought an accessory with it. This is a Bandai Namco game. It is Ace Angler Fishing Spirits. This is based off an arcade game, but I believe the original version of this game is more of I don't want to say a straight port of the arcade game, but I think it's a little bit more in line with what the arcade experience is. This one is a little different. It's got like a little Animal Crossing kind of style aesthetic to it. You have little characters that like walk around an aquarium, things like that. But I think the core game, you could dress up your little characters and stuff too. There's like DLC, although I think the DLC expired, October 2023. So beyond that, I assume. But it actually has the code on the front there as well. Also, it's the Japanese code, I think. So Well, I don't know. Is it Japanese? I can't tell. It says JPN. I don't think it's Japanese. This box is in English. It's not an American version. I don't think there's like an ESRB rated version of this. I think this is the Asian release. Either way, so you have like a little thing that your Joy-Con can sit in. You can kind of reel it in and stuff like that. So it looks like there is the Ace Angler Fishing Spirit, the popular arcade fishing metal game. So there's that. And then it says, learn all about fish in story mode, which is Legend of the Poisoned Sea. So it's like different games in here. Online, Ultimate Angler Competition, Metal Pusher Game. Oh my God, they have you want to play coins? It's here. Shark Fever. Sorry, coins is an inside joke. It is a game where you push metals. Interesting. So I'm really interested to check this out. But yeah, it has a little accessory that I bought with it that goes with it that you can kind of use to reel stuff in. Just basically presses the button a bunch, I believe. Like rapidly presses the A button. Fucking Yar. So this got an English release on the digital store. So I picked this up, the Japanese version. I think I looked into it, and I think English is on it downloads the English patch when you play it. So even though this original release doesn't have English on it, the patch puts English on there. This is kind of like a I don't know what you'd call it, boat building game, where you are a ship captain and you build a boat, and there's like a bunch of little cats that pilot your boat with you, and you fight other ship captains, and they're all anime girls. I just thought it looked cute. It's the studio Saizenzen, so the Umehara Kawase people made this. Success published it. When I was in Japan last, they had an event going on for this, but unfortunately I got there right as they were shutting down the event. I think I wasn't intending to go to it, but I realized I was in the area and got there right as they were closing up shop for that. And last but not least, a game we already talked about during the Game of the Year segment, where I mentioned biggest purchase regret from the last year. Super Swing Golf Season 2. And there's nothing wrong with Super Swing Golf Season 2, to be clear. I don't know of anything wrong with Super Swing Golf Season 2. But I have not played Super Swing Golf Season 1, so the first game. So the fact I picked this up, I think the biggest thing was just I hadn't seen a physical copy of this game before, and I was like, oh, this looked interesting. Let me reinvest in this game I already haven't picked up. It's $8, which is like usually in Vegas, that's about as low as prices generally will get for anything that's like remotely desirable, unless you're picking up like Satisfaction, a game that like I would want and nobody else. That's maybe closer to $5, right? But some rare exception that we have that deal of the $250 kind of things, but yeah. Oh, and one other thing, a part of this whole thing is, I guess maybe I should say Super Swing Golf, why I like it is it's a very more anime aesthetic. I'm such a basic boy. I just like anime characters. I don't like anime, but I like the anime aesthetic and more cutesy aesthetic. And like, I like that there's a variety of characters. I think variety helps me a lot. Cause I like, usually if you give me something like Buckin' Yar, which is all anime girls on the cover, I mean, they're fine. I'm just like, whatever. But like, once you start mixing it in, once you're like Sparkling Feather, where it's like, we got ourselves a chubby boy, we got ourselves like a One-sama, we got ourselves like the sister type kind of thing, right? Or whatever. Like we have a diversity, big macho man buff guy. I like it when you put all of them in there, right? And you put them all together and they interact in different ways. And there are all these like very stereotypical characters that are like kind of meant to appeal to different people and stuff in different ways. I do not necessarily expect that out of Pangya Golf. And I will say a lot of golf games, I think, have a good variety of character designs. I think that is something that has been around for a while, kind of the standard. I don't really know how they decide what they design for golf characters, but I think there's a Ninja Gaiden character in here. Look at that. Ryu. Tecmo Ball Man. There's a guy in a football suit. I guess technically Tecmo Ball. Oh, is that Mighty Bomb Jack? Yeah, it's just weird stuff in here. So I also have We Love Golf. Ben, chill on the golf games. Just play one at some point. Anyways, I also picked up Super Mario Wonder, but we talked about that last week, so it's not to say much there. Again, if you want to know more about that and like my weird reinvigoration with the Switch, I think that Nintendo video that comes out at the beginning of next month will kind of answer those questions a little bit more directly of what I've been thinking about with that stuff, which I'm sure some of that stuff we'll talk about on the podcast here and there as well. So anyway.